Dr. Warren. Now, as she's coming up, Dr. Warren was at the show last year, and she and I talked, and we had some spoken word last year. She said, well, I play this stuff as well. I was like, cool, we'll get you involved. Last week, we had a trumpeter, female trumpeter to play, and today we present Dr. Warren, who's going to play the saxophone. Dr. Warren is on you.
I was very intentional about selecting a song to be able to play. It was taking me all week to figure out, oh my goodness, what song. And my mom, who's here with me today, sent me a song and I was like, that's it, that's the song. But it's a brand new song that just dropped. I want to say maybe last week by DFW Mass Choir. So I'm going to play it along with them so that you can hear the words for the song as well. The title of the song is called My Purpose because the words are just inspiring and just enlightening. And so I want to make sure that I'm sharing that with you as well.
So I heard father plays guitar, grandmother
Yes.
plays piano.
Yes.
So why not the piano?
Well, I have two cousins that are older than me that play saxophone.
Okay.
One of them actually has 2 albums that he had released.
Okay.
And then I have cousins that are younger than me that are also saxophone players. So I like to think that I inspire that next generation.
Now, nothing I haven't heard yet. I haven't heard female saxophone player. So how did you decide to pick up the saxophone?
It still was just because I had that.
This family.
Yes, yes.
So tell me
Yeah, I
this.
guess I could say Lisa Simpson
Okay.
or Simmons or whatever.
So tell me this, as a female saxophone player, but it's not necessarily a lot, tell me about the struggle.
Well, I guess I would say the most challenging part was I did play when I was in college. I attended my first 2 years. I attended Dillard University, and I was a part of the jazz club or the jazz band there. So I had an opportunity to play at the New Orleans Jazz Festival and a couple of other events and things of that nature. And I was the only female within the group. So I guess the challenge was during that time would have been just, you know, proving my worth along with the guys that were a part of the group and letting them know that, you know, I can play just as well as they can.
Okay, did you guys see how she just slipped that in? Dillard University, jazz band. Well, no. My mother taught at the,
Oh, cool.
it's a well-known musical program. But she didn't just play at the school. She played in the New Orleans Jazz Festival, which is a huge jazz festival, as the only female. Coming here, I'm unassuming, dragging her saxophone. So tell me about that experience. So you showed out to show that you belong.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Confident. Yes. So tell me more about that.
It was an amazing experience to be on the stage and to be in a space with so many people. It felt really surreal. I don't think I really realized just how big it was. My parents came down for the event, and so it was like really kind of through my dad that was like, this is just, do you even understand what you're doing right now? And it was, to me, it was just almost kind of like another gig, you know, it's just another place where we're playing.
Do you recall how many stages it was that year?
I do not.
Multiple stages. This concert is held almost all over the city with multiple stages. All kinds of artists. So that's mind-blowing. You giving the autographs afterwards? But wow. And so now, from there, you said 2 years in Dillard.
Yes.
So tell me what happened next. What's next?
So I was at Dillard for 2 years, and then I ended up transferring to the University of Texas in Austin. And there, I did continue to play, but my playing was more so for our gospel choir that they had while I was there, and it's called Intermissions. And so the bulk of my playing, with the exception of Dillard, which was more really kind of jazz playing, was really gospel playing. So having that opportunity to just really kind of focus on that. I did have an opportunity. I had someone to reach out to me and go and play like on a live recording that they were doing for an album or something that was several years ago. But for the most part, yeah,
That was it. That's a lot. That's amazing. So, Dr. Warren, doctorate in education. How much additional music education have you done?
So I haven't done any additional music education. I did take like a couple of courses in undergrad that are related to music just to continue to improve, because a lot of the music that I was playing was really kind of playing by ear. And so just really learning more of the technical aspect of the music and playing and things of that nature. But as far as anything beyond that, what I did in undergrad, I haven't taken any additional courses.
Wow. So, you play by ear or you read as well, or both?
I do both, but it is mostly by ear. But I do have the capability of doing both.
Wow. So the song you played came out a week ago.
Yes.
And more than likely, have they published the words yet, or the chords and everything yet?
No.
No.
My mom sent that song out to us, to my sister and I want to say on Wednesday. I think Wednesday. And so it was a matter of just really listening to it over and over and over, learning the lyrics, figuring out what the lyrics were saying and learning the lyrics, and then because they also released just an instrumental, and then trying to decide, do I play with the instrumental or do I play with the lyrics? And that was one of the things that I had mentioned before, that I really decided to do the lyrics because I wanted you all to be able to hear it as well, because the lyrics were what really blessed me.
So then, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today is Saturday, 2 o'clock. Do you work?
Yes, I do.
8 to 5, more or less?
Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. I probably on Thursdays, my nights in a little late. I teach at the college, so, you know.
So when did you practice? When did you write the song?
As I mentioned, you know, that was one of the things that I kept listening to it over and over and over, and I figured that as once I listened to the song, and then I was just very prayerful that it was in a comfortable key for me, and so that was my prayer. And so then when I started playing, if it's in a comfortable key, then I can really figure things out. If it's in a comfortable key, if it's in not so comfortable of a key, it's a little bit more challenging. It takes a little bit more practice for me. But this particular song just so happened to be in a comfortable key.
Wow. I learned a little bit about keys this week, so it wasn't an A. Okay. What key was it in?
I don't know. It was a comfortable key.
A is like a simple key, right?
Yes. I can tell you it wasn't B flat, because usually when I go and I play somewhere, that's what I ask them, what key are you playing in? So that determines if I can pick up and play along fairly quickly, or if it'll sound like I'm just, because I'm trying to find exactly where they're at.
So how often do you play?
Not as often as I probably should.
Okay. I agree. Beautiful music.
Thank you.
Beautiful music. Beautiful music. So tell me this. As a professional, as a doctor, as an educator, do you teach music?
I do not.
Okay. So just play.
I just
Excellent. Who wants to be on program has a question? It's okay. There's no wrong questions. There's no wrong answers. There's no scripts. You just get to be on script. Just what do you want to say? What do you want to ask? Okay, Paris, come on, Paris. What you got for me, Paris?
Is it hard to like play any instrument if you are black?
I don't think that necessarily your ethnicity will make playing an instrument challenging. I think what makes it challenging is if you have a heart for it. So if it's something that you're not really into, or something that you really want to pursue, then I think it'll be challenging. But if it's something that you're really interested in and that you really want to do, then you will persevere and just kind of work toward it. That's
So,
a great question.
I got a question for you. So I call myself heartbroker, real estate broker. Real estate broker is kind of what I do. The heartbroker is kind of what I love. So would you say the same thing for yourself? The kind of educator, yes, but a musician, tend to do this.
Yes, so I will definitely say that when I went off to school, because I really enjoyed music, but when I went off to school, my parents basically told me that I could major in anything that I wanted to, but music. And so, but music, yes. And I know that was just really because, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of family members that are musicians. And then, you know, the struggle is real,
Right.
being an artist of that nature. And so that was pretty much kind of what I did but I also have a love for, you know, the sciences as well. So and for me, the music is like the artistic side of the science, and they just kind of go hand in hand.
Wow. Paris, how'd you like that answer?
And that sounds like
You can do anything you want to do. The key word was love. It's to love what you want to do. There's a book out, one day you get to read it, that says, do what you love and the money will follow. So remember that you're growing up, just what do I love to do? What I find that I like to do? Whether it's with your hands, whether it's with your voice, what do I like to do? And do that, and then learn to love it. Got a question here, yes.
Yes, I know Vashunda very well, and
Okay.
so I want you to help the young ladies understand that if they, let's say for example, they enjoy music, how would they use music to help them better understand science?
Wow. That's your relative.
Yes, right. So, one of the things, because of the fact that I enjoy both the music and the science, even in the creation of learning experience for whether it's students or adults, I try to bring in music. So for instance, when I was presenting on a lesson on physics, one of the things that I did was brought in a video that basically showcased the rhythm of drums and then how speakers were vibrating and things of that nature, and we're looking at frequencies. And then we're just kind of talking about bringing in acceleration and things of that nature. And just kind of talking about, you know, how as tempos and volumes and things of that nature increase and decrease, how that also causes differences in frequency. And so it's always that intentionality of making sure that you're making that connection with the things that you enjoy, and then helping others to be able to make that connection as well.
So, well, the young ladies in the front. My daughters learn through, I want to say it was row teaching, based on rhythm. And so every once in a while I'll do some math tutoring. And I teach kind of row, where we kind of pattern, we 2x2 is 4, and just, so what's your thoughts on that kind of concept in education?
Yes, actually, that was one of the things that I was teaching my girls for different things. And in fact, it's kind of like, I was actually talking with one of them this week, and she was telling me that how I taught her a song to remember something, and her dad taught her a song to remember something, and she was like, yeah, but dad's song was so much better than yours. so that worked for me, you know, and so, but I use that as an opportunity to just kind of show how you think in different ways, and yet you still get to the same answer and the same goal. So yes, and also, you know, repetition gets it in you. At least that's my philosophy as it relates to education. I always tell students that's why teachers are so smart, because we repeatedly teach the same things over and over, where they're getting it, you know, that one time. And so the same thing is with music. You know, generally there's a repetition within the beats and within the notes and things of that nature.
Any questions, any more questions? Yes.
I have a question. Not being musically inclined at all, I understand when people sing, certain people can't sing in certain keys. How does that work with an instrument when you say certain keys are uncomfortable for you to play in?
Yes.
How does that kind of work?
Yes. So it is pretty much the exact same thing. So usually for me, if I attempt to play in a key, like if somebody is playing and that key is uncomfortable for me, what ends up happening, I feel like it sounds like I can't play, because I'm trying to find what the note is that they're playing. And oftentimes I can find one note, but I mean, you really need to know the scale. And so I do know scales, and that kind of comes from just that academic learning of music. But because I play by ear, usually what happens is I'm listening to someone sing or I'm listening to someone play, and if they play within a scale, which is usually about 5 to 7 notes, that I'm not comfortable with playing. So there may be 1 or 2 keys or notes that, yes, but then my mind has to also remember, for instance, if you're playing the letter G, G can be G sharp or G can be G flat. The same with E, E flat, or, you know, E sharp, F, F flat, or F sharp. And so having to remember, you know, once you find it, but then remembering that it's not a regular F, I gotta play F sharp, oh, and then I have to play E flat while I'm in this song. So while you're playing, it's almost kind of that rhythm of flowing with whatever it is that they're singing or the musicians that you're playing along with, as well as making sure that you play and hit the exact keys. Even though you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to an F next. Oh, wait, wrong F, should have did an F sharp.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
to follow up the scale, So I'm like, I'm not musically inclined. Young lady last week, trumpet player at Grambling, she talked about being challenged by her fellow band members and the band director to play the scale. And all these musicians don't necessarily know the scale. She talked about just blowing everybody away because she knew the whole scale. So how often do you practice the scale?
So definitely when I pick it up, I'm going through the scales.
Okay.
But I probably would be more comfortable if I practice the skills that I'm not comfortable with. But like most people, I practice what I'm comfortable with.
Right.
And so that I would say, you know, whenever I pick it up, that's one of the things that I go through as far as my warm up. So even when I stepped out to kind of warm up earlier, it was going through scales. Even though it wasn't necessarily the scale that this particular song was in, I went through some scales to warm up the instrument, and then went back into the scale for this song.
Wow. So young lady, something I just heard is a foundation. Scales in life is like foundation. So we apply the music to life, and it's kind of a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I saw the guy say, okay, well, next level is 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Next level, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 6, 2, 8. So just where your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 becomes your foundation or your scale. And as you practice, whether it's multiplication, division, or just addition, just that foundation helps you in life. I know that's probably way to but it's okay. Common opinion. One more question in the back there.
Yeah, I have a question. I've always heard the saxophone is probably the instrument that's as close to the human voice. With that in mind, tell us how you put your heart and soul into your articulation and how you get your vibrato, your breathing. Well, I'm asking a lot of questions, so let me put a period right there, but I think you understand what I mean.
Okay, yes. So that was one of the things I think that, like I was sharing at the beginning, was just kind of learning the words to the song. So I heard the song, and that song immediately was like, yes, that's right. I will do it. I shall do it. Didn't I promise you? You know, just hearing that from God, and then saying, don't do it. You know, don't say it until the time you're told. You know, and so I'm like, okay, Lord. So for me, it's like pause, wait for him to speak to you before you're making moves. And so listening to that, and as with any song, which is why I was very intentional about selecting which song that I would do today. Because sometimes I'll play a song and it, to me, does not sound that great at all. And that's because there's not a true connection that I'm making to that song. But if I select a song where I feel that, you know, I'm truly being used by God to minister to others, then I feel that at that point, you will hear some really great things, even if in my mind I'm like, I messed that up. And just being mindful that, you know, this is a ministry and what I do because this is how I choose to worship God.
Wow. So almost to add to what you're saying, that almost the saxophone is an extension of your voice.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Any other questions? We're gonna bring you back up. Thank you for the musical Dr. Warren. We're gonna see if we can educate Dr. Warren in a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
So